Hi, this is Michelle, your motivator. I am motivating today in today's Michelleolgy. We're going to begin to talk about some things that's going to flip you upside down or right side up. I'm not sure which way, but it's going to change your life. This is all about changing. Why do we hate to change? Well, stay tuned. Call your neighbors, call your friends. No, call those that you call your enemies and tell them to tune in to today's Michelleolgy. We'll be right back.
I'm tired of this. What?
Why all the hatred and stuff toward me and Kulu?
Y'all, you already know. You already
But
know how to deal
listen,
with it. You already know how to deal
I
with
know what the deal is, Aisha. But what we did with these fight up for the sake of those kids, right? And you already know.
It don't matter about
it
that.
do matter.
You gotta think
You
about
a
it.
mama.
How you
You
would've
do
act?
not
How you would've
put
act?
your children in no situation like that.
Don't
I'll do
hear
it
that.
again.
I don't want to hear
I
that.
swear to God, on my
I know
life,
it.
I will do it
Better
again.
keep on praying,
Because
baby.
I
Better
love
keep
them
on
children.
praying. Keep on
What?
praying.
I do. I
Keep
pray
on
every day,
praying.
baby. I
Keep
pray
on
every day. You
praying.
know
God
what?
don't like
In
ugly.
case you ain't
God don't
realized.
like ugly. Period.
I know he don't. Look
God
in the
don't like
mirror.
ugly.
Look in the mirror and see what you see,
I know
baby.
it.
Look in the mirror.
I know it.
He already working it out. Where you at? You in Arlington, Georgia.
Whatever.
That's right. Go back to Atlanta and see what I call D-Fights again.
All right, this is Michelle, the motivator. We're back, and today we're going to talk about the tree of life. There is a lot of information in the tree of life. It's more than what we read in Genesis or what we read in Revelation, but it's the in-between times that we need to talk about with the tree of life. The tree of life is like the umbilical cord that is never cut. When you were birthed, the tree of life was birthed through you. I am not talking about when flesh was on you. Your birth, that was your second birth. Your first birth was your initial spirituality when God really created your true being. Your flesh is not your true being. Your consciousness, your spirituality, that is everything that's true about you. The flesh is an illusion because it's here today and gone tomorrow. It changes quite often. You're old, you're young. It's an illusion. And so what we have to do in the tree of life is we have to come to the now, the nowness of who you really are. Yesterday is an illusion. Your past is an illusion. Why? Because it will never repeat itself. Tomorrow, your future is an illusion. Why? Because it hasn't even gotten here yet. But what we have to focus in on right now is this present moment. I promise you, I have begun to practice in my journey to become present. Most of our, most of our issues or most of our troubles are based on what we're thinking about is going to happen tomorrow, next week, 2 weeks from now, or what happened to us last week, 3 years, 4 years. But when you become present, you come to the tree of life. You come to life. You come to experiencing what God, our Creator, has made exactly for us just for this moment. It reduces stress. It reduces worries. It reduces problems. Because right now in this present moment, wherever you sit, you don't have any problems because you're in the present moment. And so that's why it reduces stress. See, we were never created to stay in the emergency mode that we stay in, where we're always worried about the rent. We're worried about the car note. We're worried about the children, what people think of us, what I got to do, what they think. I got to do this. So much stuff goes on in your brain that it causes chemicals to release in your body that causes stress mode. And then they end up in a cancer cell or high blood pressure or diabetes. And so it's not so much what we're eating that is causing these diseases. I know the medical field tells you that, but it is what is going on with our neurons, our electrons, and our protons within our bodies. Did you know that your DNA was 666? I know we're talking about that's the mark of the devil, but your DNA has 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, 6 protons. And scientifically, it has been found that you can change your DNA. You can change anything in your body. Why? Because your body was created. Your body was created to heal itself. Now, am I against doctors? No, I'm not. But you have to go in a doctor's office knowing about your own body. This is your tree of life. This is what you operate in on this side. And so you have to be very knowledgeable about what's going on with your cells, what's going on with your brain, what's going on with all the chemicals in your body. And when you become knowledgeable of that, when you know that, then that what the doctor gives you, you can analyze and decide what's your best treatment. Now, about a year ago, I was diagnosed with diabetes. And when I went into the office, my sugar count was 900. And so the doctor wanted to know. Now, I had begun to study consciousness. I had begun to study about my body. I had begun to study, and I was just in the beginning stage of knowing things about my own body. Most of us don't even know the vessel that we walk in, that we call this the temple, but we don't know anything about the temple. And so I went into the doctor, and the doctor said, you have to get to the emergency room immediately. And I'm saying, why? Because she's saying, well, how did you get here? I said, I drove myself here. And so the thing was that I was supposed to be unconscious and in a coma with a sugar count like that. So when they got me to the hospital, it was even higher than 900. Nobody really comes through that physically. But the thing that it kept me going, kept me driving, kept me going to work, kept me taking care of my kids at a sugar count of 900 had to be spiritual. And my consciousness had nothing to do with my body, because my body was supposed to have broken down. But when you are divinity walking in humanity, you can overcome some physical things that most people can't, just because you know about it, just because you have the knowledge of it. See, we're going around here and we're throwing around I believe, and I believe is the pediatrics in any spirituality or any religion. You walk into a situation believing, but once you become an expert on your situation, you move from believing to knowing, because no one can come against what you know. When you know a thing, I don't care what is thrown at you, you stand on that, becomes your foundation of what you know. And so what am I saying at this point? In today's Michelleology, you've got to know your tree of life. You've got to know about how your brain works. We serve God with our mind. Everything that happens in our body starts here first. Nothing around you can happen. None of your situations, your environment can happen unless it starts here. Everything about this world started with a thought. Everything about what's going on in your relationship started with a thought. You can change your marriage around with one thought. You can change your finances around with one thought. It's too simple. That's what you're saying right now. It's too simple. You mean I can just change my mind and it changed my situation? Yes. But you have been conditioned that it takes a process, that it takes a long period of time. We're now walking in the 5th dimension. What is the 5th dimension? We're walking out of the 3rd dimension, which is our body, and the 4th dimension, which is time, and walking into the 5th dimension, which we were originally created to be. The 5th dimension causes you to hear people's conversation and you're not even present. Causes you to know things and you don't know nothing about it. Causes you to move in that time where the Bible says, before you were in your mother's womb, I knew you. That means there was a being before you got into flesh. And so that being was intimate with God. And when you become intimate with God, the infinite one, and all his wisdom, when you become intimate, you begin to birth some things. So when there's some people, that try to get smart with you and say, you think you know everything. But I used to get offended when they say that. But you know what? I do know everything. Why? Because I am one with God. Because I am not separate from God. Somehow we've gotten into the reality that we are separate from God. That God walks before us. God walks in us. that God is the man upstairs. God is in us. And until we get to that reality, until we get to that point, we'll never understand this tree of life. We'll never understand that we're walking here with purpose. And our purpose has nothing to do with living or dying. It is just our being. It is just who we are. And so we get to the point where we've got to know it's not an option anymore. Trial and error is not an option anymore. We have got to know that this is our tree of life. This is what gives us life. This is what will have life after this death on this side. See, death used to be an issue with me, but no longer is it an issue, because death is not really death. It is a transforming and a transitioning into another type life. And so when you know that, then you're able to deal with the things of life. You're able to deal with death. You're able to go into a sick person's room and begin to send energy to them by what? Placing a thought in their mind that just because the diagnosis say one thing. Now, my diagnosis I was talking about told me I was going to have to give myself shots 2 times a day, and that I was going to have to do that. The medicine was $800 a piece for both of the medicines. So I did not accept the diagnosis. I changed my mind about my stress levels. I changed my eating habits. I changed the way I think about things, the way I attack things, the way I go forth in things. And I got off of that medication. Now I'm just on the pill. And now I'm working to get off the pill. But when I get to the point, or I'm already at the point, but when I become the conscious of the consciousness that's in me, then I can walk away from all medications. So what am I saying to you? Am I telling you to stop taking your medication? No, I am not. Because if you don't know what you know, you cannot operate in this realm of consciousness. You will die physically. You have got to be aware of who you are. And you've got to know your tree of life and how it works. Today's Michelleolgy is giving you a gold mine to change your life. If you've been diagnosed with cancer, it can be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with high blood pressure, it can. Heart disease, I can name all of them. All of them are formed from a form of stress. Stress that you created in a thought that created in your body, and then it began to set up infection in different places in your life. So it's not only just in your physical body, but you have infection in some areas in your life that have set up because of stress mode. So what am I saying today? In today's Michelleolgy, which we are studying the true godliness to becoming holistic, mentally, physically, and spiritually, to be able to enjoy this life. You're not enjoying this life. I have not been enjoying life because I've been looking at my negative circumstances. Negative circumstances can be changed with one mind change. All you have to do is what? Think of it a different way. Learn something from it. Get something from it. If you're in a bad relationship, learn something from it. Learn something from that person. Change the energy in the house. You can do it. You don't need the help of nobody else. You can do this by yourself. This is why the God I serve is so awesome, because he's no respecter of person. That means you don't have to be smart. You don't have to have any degrees. You don't have to be this intelligent genius. All you have to do is listen to the inner voice. Everybody has it. The inner voice can work negatively or positively. Depends on how you manipulate it to be. And so we come to this point of knowing that the tree of life is more than a tree in the Garden of Eden with some fruit on it. The tree of life is you. You are that tree, and you produce fruit within yourself, and you have this innate ability to affect everything that touches you, everything that's around you. On your job, you can change it. You can enter your energy in there and you can change the whole situation around. Well, we're going to come back in a moment. We're going to take a break because I know I gave you a lot of stuff you have to say, and it all has to come together. But we're going to take a break and we'll be right back with today's Michelleolgy. Hey, we're back. This is Michelle, the motivator, with today's Michelleolgy. And just to wrap up what we've talked about today, we've talked about you are the tree of life. You're not in Genesis. You're not in Revelation. You're right here, now, present. And you've got to learn about every branch, every fruit, every root, every leaf. And that's every part of you, because you are a representation from the Infinite One and His wisdom. And so you have to be wise about your situation. Well, I want you to contact me. I do seminars. I will come to your home personally. It doesn't have to be a seminar. It doesn't have to be a crowd. I do counseling, and I go around and speak. I am about to write a book on Michelleolgy, which is giving some information about being a motivation for yourself. You can reach me at Twitter. I am the motivator at More the Rock. For Twitter, I'm on Facebook. You can reach me under Michelle Massey Washington. And you can email me to let me know that you received something from today's Michelleolgy at moreoftherock@hotmail.com. You can also reach me at the phone number 678-830-4100. If you want me to come to your church, I'll come to your church. I'll come to your job. I'll come to your house. I will come, because I am the motivator and ready to motivate you. So I always end every today's Michelleolgy with, you are created by the Creator to be creative. So start creating and what? Stop duplicating. Hope you enjoyed today's message. Remember, you can do anything and be anything you want with one change of the mind. We'll see you next time. This is Michelle, the motivator, on today's Michelleolgy.